Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my new devlog series for my new game, Bun Bun Bouquets. If you're seeing this, that means I've committed to a project, and it's a big one. So I decided if I can get a set amount of devlogs made and I'm still passionate about the project, I'll post them and then the project will be official. So if you see this, it's happening. This game is inspired by Stardew Valley, Sticky Business, and Animal Crossing. More so the first two rather than the latter. The main thing that would be inspired by Animal Crossing is that the characters are animals. And that's about it. But I'm still going to put Animal Crossing in there because some ideas I come up with later I realized I played in Animal Crossing, so it is inspiring me without me thinking about it. If you weren't here for it, I made a video about making a game in a day. And I loved the concept I came up with. And I just couldn't get out of my head. I finished my Game Jam game for Big Game Jam 5 for GDevelop. I finished Flappy Fidget. And I still just wanted to make it. So, I am. So let me talk about what this game is all about. The goal of this game is to grow flowers, to make bouquets, and to sell them. Basically kind of like in Sticky Business, where you design stickers, list them, and sell them. Only, it's different because it's flowers, and you have to do a whole gardening system, which is closer to Stardew Valley. That's the main game loop. But I also want to add growing veggies, bug catching, a custom ramen mini game because there will be a ramen shop in the town. Which, by the way, there will be a town. As well as a cast of characters for you to be friends with. The visuals you see right now is one of those characters. I will make a whole separate video talking about some of the characters. But if this concept of a game interests you, please subscribe, click the bell, and get notified because I would really love a lot of people to see this, a lot of eyes to see this. This is the type of game I would like to play, and I feel like a lot of other people would enjoy playing it as well. In this devlog, I want to show some of the pre-planning, my awful attempt at a game design document, and how I'm trying to learn how to combine advice versus how my brain works. The main thing you see is lots of lists and documents. I get overwhelmed reading long things, so I've been trying to make smaller documents instead of a long game design document. But so far that hasn't helped. But I did get to making a main game loop document, kind of, as well as a few other things jotted down. The main problem is I don't gel well with words on a screen. I gel on paper. So eventually what I ended up doing is a whole lot of things in my sketchbook, because that actually helps me sort my thoughts. I could theoretically do the same idea but in a drawing program, but again, it doesn't gel the same for me. My brain just sees lots of words and gets overwhelmed. That will be the theme with me for all of these devlogs. I get very easily overwhelmed, and I'm trying to get into a field that is very overwhelming. So I'm trying to find what works for me. I like blank, no line paper way more than lined paper. I just like paper more than a Word document. And that's unfortunate because it slows you down. But what I've learned so far is a game design document, I understand why it's useful, and I understand that I should do one. But I also understand that my brain cannot handle the overwhelm of a document like that. It's very suffocating to try and make a game design document. So what I'm trying to do, because the idea of a game design document is still very good, and also the game industry does it, so obviously it's useful and it's something you should do. So what I'm trying to do is get the elements of a game design document and make it in bite-sized pieces in a sketchbook, because I cannot do a game design document. That's one of the reasons why I did not join the Pirate Software Game Jam, because he requires a game design document. And I looked at the game design document that he showed as a reference, and that made me want to cry. Remember, the theme of this is easily overwhelmed. That's not a joke. It made me want to cry. So I cannot do that kind of document. That document is just so hard for me. That's harder than making the game. I figured out stuff, and I have no clue how to make games, really. I figured stuff out. Making games way easier than trying to make that game design document. That document makes me upset. I can't do it. So I'm trying to make bite-sized pieces with the same principle for what I can do in a sketchbook. That is what works for me. That is how my brain can process things. I have to use my hands in like a drawing or a writing fashion on paper. Typing, I don't gel with typing. I can only do typing if I'm having a conversation. Beyond that, it stresses me out. So we're not doing that. Also for checklists on my phone. Typing's fine for that because it's a checklist and I can just tap it and it's done. But yeah, before we close, I want to talk you through what I got on paper at the moment. So I hope you enjoy. Hello. I'm going to talk about what I've got in this so far. So what I did here is I saw a video saying, I think it was a video, maybe it was a picture, saying that you should write down what your global mechanics are versus your not global mechanics. And I have no idea where I saw that or read that. I don't know, but it stuck with me, so I started doing it. Because how GDevelop works is you have, let me just show you. So in GDevelop, you have external events and then scene events. So this is within the realm of your home. And in here, this is what's going on in your home. Notice how I turned all of this off because it became an external event. So that way you can link it to multiple places because I want foraging and I want the flowers to all be in one group. It's a whole thing. So this would be a global thing because if there's any variables, you have to use global variables. And if there's any objects, they have to be global objects. So for example, the room switch is a global object, the player is a global object, the action marker is a global object. Logs are a global object because I'm going to learn how to make the mechanic to cut trees. So the logs have to work anywhere, so that will be a global object. So I made this so that way I can kind of get a better idea of what needs to be all of these external events. So that way I don't program a whole thing into a scene and realize, frick, I gotta copy and paste all of this into an external event. So that's what this is for. And then there's a color code. If there's blue by it, it's more important. And if it has red by it, it's less important, but not unimportant. And how I kind of went about picking out what's less important is, would the game loop still exist and would the game still have some kind of fun attached to it if those didn't exist? Basically, is the core of the game fun or am I wasting my time? And I made like a little graph. So I think that the game is important. Here is the loop and it all goes back to this. So you have to buy seeds, plant seeds, wait for seeds to grow. We're going to come back to this. Harvest them and make bouquets, and then you sell them. So that's the loop, but you have this section here where you're waiting for the seeds to grow. That's what the extra stuff is for. So I have a bunch of characters I'm designing. Whole lot of characters. This whole world is going to be animals. I will get more into how I went about my character design language later, but it's really hard to make animals that don't look like Sanrio Animal Crossing or Busy Town. So it's like, okay, gotta figure this out. But there's a lot of characters. I want them to have kind of like small little stories, kind of like how Stardew Valley does it. There will be mini games. So there's a character who has a ramen shop, and I want it to be you can either buy ramen or you can do like a drag and drop game to like make a custom ramen. So there's a ramen mini game that I would like to add, and then butterfly net. I don't see any reason to have fishing in this game. Fishing would do nothing. The only reason to have fish besides eating it, but you're playing as a rabbit, so rabbits don't even eat fish as far as I know. The only reason to have fishing would be to make fertilizer for your plants, but that's kind of a waste of time to make a big mechanic that you only use for one thing. Unlike how fish is like in Stardew Valley, you can cook with it, you can give it as gifts, you can craft with it. There's a lot of things you can do with fish. Unlike in this game, there wouldn't be any purpose for fish. So instead I want to have a butterfly net, and you can catch bugs. And what you would do with that, I would like to have like a little like bug conservatory or something in a library or something. And I would also like it to be certain bugs you bring back you can either keep in like little enclosures as pets, or you can have them go around your garden and help you keep pests away. Because like, let's just say ladybugs, they keep aphids away. Stuff like that. So the bugs would have more of a use in this universe than fishing. Then while you're waiting for the seeds to grow, you can also forage and explore, and I also want to have forageable seeds, so you can be getting more seeds to plant while you're waiting for these to grow. So these things are important to fill in this gap for this fun, simple loop, but there is a waiting period where someone would get bored. So that's what this is for, and I'm okay with that. The most important things are an inventory system, so you can like go from place to place and have the stuff inside of your inventory pretty much. So you could go to different places. Like let's say you're going to the forest and you forage some wild violet seeds. I don't know if I'm going to put that in the game, but it's just what I can think of. Wild violet seeds. You forage the wild violet seeds you need to have in your inventory so you can bring it back, which means all of the seeds have to be global objects. You need an inventory. Movement, obviously, that has to be a global thing so that you can move around the entire map. Harvesting and foraging, that's obviously important. How are you going to get the flowers? Then you need to have money. You need to have a buying and selling system. And over here, the local scene things would be the shops and the locations. And the player home has to work. So you can make the bouquets within your home. And there's a lot of like less important things like holidays and NPC relationships and a dialogue system. That makes the game alive, but the blue ones make the game work, pretty much. So we have this. And then over here, you're getting a sneak peek at the characters. There's a lot of characters here. Some might be cut, some might be added. I don't know. We're still very early in the game development process, but we have Cedric, who's a cat, and then his little cat family. We have Frogetta, who's a frog, Bonflower, who is a rabbit, Genie Pig, who is a guinea pig, Noodle, who is a ferret, Camila, who is a chameleon, and then Mayor McMallard and his wife Swanna McMallard. That would be the mayor and his wife. And then there are some other mentioned characters you don't see. Here's some ideas of things I might or might not do. Honestly, all of this is subject to change and we move around, so do not get attached to anyone yet. And then this is all characters I would have to design. And the final thing in this that I did recently is I was trying to make a map. I feel like I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a town map. I might, I don't know. But I still need to know how it looks in my head versus how I arrange the rooms and how I have them go. So far what I have is the home, where you live, and then you have the main town and then the neighborhood, which I have debated, am I going to make it one thing like in Stardew Valley, or is it going to be two separate places? I don't know yet. This would make it easier to design, but this would make it load in less assets if I broke it apart. So I don't know yet. I'll have to just see what happens. And then we have the forest, which is a forageable area. Then there is a mushroom forest, which is why I don't want to call both of these the forest. I think I ended up calling this in my game woodlands, and this is mushroom forest / wetlands. So that's what I have. I'm trying not to add so many places to add on to, because this alone, this is a nice little game. It doesn't have to be Stardew Valley size, and this is already pretty big. You have, if you separate this out, you have 2, 4, you have 5 areas to explore. So it's still a decent size, especially for a game I've never made before. But I just wanted to be able to visualize it a little bit to see what's happening. And yeah, I hope you join me for my journey of making this game. This whole thing that you're seeing now, this was filmed in June and July. Junimo! My cat likes to scream for no reason. He's fine. I would like to have this video be out in December. We will see, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. But if you're seeing this, that means I've committed and I'm way further in than this. The majority of these videos, if not all of them that you see, will be filmed months in advance. I did this so that way I wouldn't be pressured to make this if I decided within a couple of videos I didn't like it anymore. But I wanted to have it already done in case I did, so I wouldn't be pressured to try and pump out a bunch of videos in the middle of the project. So I've been pacing myself to have a lot of the stuff done ahead of time. And if you enjoy this idea, if you enjoy my content, my channel, whatever, please like and subscribe and comment and share. I would really love for this game to get some eyes, because if I've gotten this far, that means I am planning to at least try and sell it on itch, if not Steam. I might change my mind by the time this video comes out. But in my current mindset of making this devlog, I would like this game to be big enough to sell on Steam, but not so big that it's overwhelming, because it's already big enough. This is big enough. But we will see. We will see how it goes. But I would like to have more eyes on it. I would like to have people suggest things. Even if by the time you see this I am way further ahead, there might be something I haven't thought of, so I will still take suggestions. I will see you all later. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Bye.